Okay, so now we are on to blushes. Blushes. What are blushes? Blushes are contour powders with pigments, actually. The color within the blushes allow for the cheekbones to be lifted, and the color also separates. Right now I'm only wearing contour and highlight powder. I'm not wearing no blush. And you can barely tell the separation between the contour powder or the highlighter. You can't tell the separation between the two. If I don't have blush in the center of my cheekbone, which lifts it out more, that's the only way you could tell that I have a contour powder on as well as a highlight powder. But for the fact that I'm showing you that I have a contour powder on and a highlight powder, you wouldn't be able to tell at all. You would just think it's one smooth sailing setting powder. It's not. It's setting powder, contour powder, highlight powder, setting powder. That's all it is. However, I start with a full face of setting powder first, then I go in with the contour powder and the highlight powder, making it look as though there's a separation between each product. There is only a separation between two products, not all three. Setting powder, full face, contour powder, highlight powder. Contour powders are a lot easier to add to a contour product than setting powders or even blushes. The mica that is used with blushes is liquid mica, as it adds more pigment, kind of like food coloring mixed in with flour. So if you're a baker out there and you work with fondant, that is what a blush is kind of like. You're working with fondant, you're working with flour, you're working with food coloring. That is what a blush can compare to, especially if you don't wear makeup and you are a baker. Compare that to baking as to how blushes come about, and highlighters actually. Blushes and highlighter, we use what's called a baking process in order to get to the tint of the highlighter, using the mica powders in order to make them nice and soft. That's why they're so fragile in the pan. Color code. Just like I said, however, yes, if you've made pancakes with food coloring or have baked a cake, you've pretty much made a blush or a few. However, that is what you eat to nourish the body with treats. Please do not put any food coloring agents to the skin unless you've been approved by the FDA to do so. That is why food coloring is sold so limitedly. Only those that are FDA approved can actually use food coloring in cooking, as they are using it in the beauty industry to create highlighters, contour powders, as well as lipsticks. So if you see it out there, it is more than likely meant for you to purchase it, especially if you are a baker. So get it while you can, because it won't show up again until you request it. And that's pretty much why you don't see food coloring out there all the time. Liquid blushes take a bit of liquid foundation and melted bullet lipsticks to the foundation or powder, and you pretty much have made your own liquid blush at home with already approved provided products. So if you add a liquid foundation on a mixing palette and then you melt down a lipstick that is very old that you don't want to put on your lips, you can still put it on your cheeks. Just mix it in with the foundation, add add it to the cheek, and you've created an easy form of your own blush that can be used, but must be used and wiped off immediately. It cannot sit there, as there is no control of bacteria that is going into the making of the actual blush when you make it at home like that. So be careful when trying this process. Why is approval important? Once again, due to the state and perils of social offers within the beauty industry, social affairs within the beauty industry, and fake products being made in mass consumption, it is better to be safe than sorry and be approved by the FDA